Hello. I'm gonna get right into the game in this video. Um, okay, d4. He plays knight f6, so I go c4 here, and he plays e6. So he's kind of developing his king side, getting ready to castle in that direction potentially. His bishop can come out and check my king, and I'm kind of taking a center, but I can't take the center because his knight is guarding it, so I'm taking the flank center and the D center. Okay, so now I come out here, so now his knight can't, or his bishop can't check me directly. Also, I control some squares. Then he recontrols e4, so I can't play it anymore because now he has two defenders of it. And if I take, he can take back with a pawn, knight, or queen. But not queen, because then my knight would get it. So here I develop the other knight. Also, this is an interesting move here because he's also threatening to just take this pawn. So in this position, if he just takes this pawn, then my plan was e4. And my bishop would be attacking the pawn, and I would also have gotten e4 in and gotten my center, been ready to harass the knight. So he doesn't do that. He develops awkwardly like this. A little too, oh, maybe it's theory, but a little too fancy. And then I just decide to bring my bishop out because I want to play this pawn forward so the bishop can protect the c pawn because of the tension here. But I don't want to block my bishop in, so I'm getting it out first. Usually I leave it in because I don't like it getting attacked by this knight to h5, and it has nowhere to go, but you'll see. So in this game I just risk it. Then he goes here, and I decide now I can play my move, and now this tension is resolved. And if he takes here, which he does, I have an option. And I decide to go with the pawn for the purpose of giving my bishop space now to go back in either direction. So he plays this move. Here I have a choice of what to do, and ultimately I decide to just put my bishop here. If he takes, then I have to move my bishop twice, but whatever, I'm preparing castling and he might not take. So he does the same thing, then I castle, he castles, now we play the middle game. So what do you do here as white? Well, a safe plan would be h3, give your king some space, give your bishop some space. You could also play h4 if you're feeling like attacking, super aggressive. You could get the rook to c1. You could get the bishop up here or the queen up here and team up on this square. Maybe hop the knight in there. You always got to think of the knight in here. In this position, my eyes are over here because his last move, he moved here and he hasn't played b5 yet. And then after us castling, it's my turn to stop b5. So I go with a4 because now if b5 I have a takes, and if pawn takes I take his rook. Also, it's just a nice move developing my rook because I'm not castling on that direction anymore. I can play, his bishop's controlling that square, but my rook has more room to operate. Then he takes here, I take as planned, and then he immediately takes his awkward knight, develops it, attacks my bishop, and puts pressure on the pawn that I developed. But I just back the bishop up. Now I could back it up in this direction, but it would deflect the queen's protection of this pawn, which I was worried about, and I didn't want to go all the way back here, and so I felt like staying on the path of the king. Even though it's blocked well, long term I thought this would be a good piece here. Also, it maintains protection of the knight hopping in here, which it does, but I decided not to exchange, and instead, this is another intense moment where he's threatening to win this bishop for free if I do nothing. But a lot of amateurs here would just be like, okay, I'm going to take it then. Take, and then when recaptures, the knight would recapture and you'd be in the same problem. Then take, now you lost your strongest bishop, and then he would bring the queen out and it'd be unchallenged, something like that. So what you got to do is just not allow that. So I just play my bishop up here and I'm saying, you can't capture me there. So now, congratulations on your spot, but you're under heavy pressure and all you can take is a knight, which is defended by a pawn, which when the pawn takes, it will protect the center. Okay. So now he hops in here, threatening to take it. But again, the bishop is not as bad as it was over here. Here, it can be defended by the knight and the pawn, so I don't have to react to this. So I play rook to here, saying, go ahead and take me. And he does, and then I take with the knight because my rook is already developed, and by taking with the knight, now my queen can develop in this direction and go win the game. So also I have a forward knight that can't immediately be attacked, and so that's why I take with the knight. Then he immediately goes for it, and in this position, I go in for it anyways. Because if he takes, I was thinking rook takes, and then the queen and the rook I will harass the king with. And then I can bring my other rook and my other pieces are aiming in the right direction. My knight's only a couple hops away. So that was my plan. And here, he gets scared and backs up. And I thought he was going to redeploy it to f5, which would be a good defensive square. But he ends up using this piece, but not as well as he could have. And this move is inaccurate because now I have this move, and I'm just getting all my pieces in the game. Then he redeploys here. I think he should have gone here, because from here I can eliminate it if I want. But in this position, he's threatening to take one of my pieces away, and instead I hop it into here. And this is a move I've wanted to play all game. And like if you go way back, I can't play knight to here. But then as the game goes on, he takes there. This square's a little weaker. Then he hops over here. This square's available now. So I control it with the rook. And then eventually I get there. And now I'm attacking the bishop. And if the knight is eliminated and the queen is distracted, I can take the bishop and the pawn can't take back because the queen would get the king. So that's why this square is so good here. So he lashes out here. Now in this position, white is completely winning. And I missed it. The best move here is knight to c6. The reason this is so good is because the queen has to move, and wherever it moves, then you can take this knight, I imagine, and then you take this bishop with check, and he can't take back because the queen. Right? Let me check. So I attack the queen, and if you, let's say you go here. Yeah, exactly. So you take the knight while defending your knight. And then if they take you, you have this move. And that really wins because the queen's right there. Not to mention my rook comes alive. But if it goes to best square, I guess, you always are eliminating this knight for free, and then they have to retreat, because if they don't, you get the knockout punch here. Checkmate. Alright. Let's go back to the game. So he lashes out with b5, and that weakens this square that the knight can use, but I don't see that because I got tunnel vision on this. So I play this because I'm thinking about the tension here. Is he going to take? Is that his threat? What if I just take? What if I push? If If I push, queen can take, but if the queen takes, then I think I have my plan with eliminating the knight and eliminating the bishop. So I try to distract the queen, but he doesn't go for it. He just develops his bishop. Now again, there's tension of getting rid of this bishop, and then I can hop in here and fork the queen and the rook if the queen captures. But this knight's in the way right now. But anyway, I go here because I kind of couldn't see all of the variations. And then from here, this move is good because it attacks the bishop and he has to react to it. So he defends it and then he walks into this. And I go with this one so he doesn't have the chance to take it. And now I'm attacking both rooks at the same time. He can't save either, so he saves neither. And he hops back, and then he blunders because by hopping back, he's no longer defending the bishop, and he blocked his queen side of the bishop. So now I take, king goes here, and here I have plenty of ammo to bring a rook up. But I was worried if I screw it up, and I know I'm completely winning here because I always can hop the knight back and fork him again after getting a free piece. So I go back and then take a rook. I take that one so that when the queen takes, I can play this and fork again. Then he attacks my queen. And here I could retreat the queen, and then he has to move his queen, and then I take a rook. And we can play a game where we both have queens. Or here I can just take the queen, and then he can take my queen. Or I can just take the knight. Flashing move. If he saves his queen, my queen will escape. If he takes my queen, I take his queen. And then we have an endgame where I have an extra rook and a passed pawn. And I just push it. And then I get my king up a little so that his bishop can't check me, and I blocked his bishop out of the game. And I just play this move so he can't attack there. And then when he goes here, I'm thinking his only threat is to go win my bishop, which is awkward to defend, but this plan of mine is too strong. So he goes for it, and then I just go here, and when he takes the bishop, I queen with check. And then when he retreats, it's checkmate immediately, right here. So that put me at 2051. I've been playing Rapid lately, which is 10 minutes on the clock each. And 2051 is 26,000. See, I've been going up since October. It's only better than 91% or 92%, but it's rating 26,000.